You can trust in life no matter what happens. Our soul comes into this earth plane with certain circumstances, situations to overcome and grow through. That's why I called this channel Soul Garden, Earth Soul Garden, because we are here to grow and expand our soul. Ever since I was a little kid, maybe because I'm a 90s baby, but I always thought this reality is like a video game. Just running around in the woods, left, right, jump. It felt like a video game. And whenever you play a video game, the first level is pretty easy. You figure out basic things and you beat the level. Second level gets harder, third level gets harder. By the time you get to the end of the game, the difficulty level is much more high. It's much more difficult, because if you're playing this video game and it stayed the same level the whole time, it would get boring. There'd be no challenge. There'd be no reason for you to play it. And you can think of life that same way. When you're an older soul, you want to incarnate into a challenging game, something that'll make you push the limits, something that you might fail at, something that's going to make you grow and expand to beat the game. Now, there is no beating the game per se. It's an endless game. But as far as the metaphor goes, we want more difficulty as we grow. So if you find yourself in a very difficult situation, which this Earth time right now is a very exciting time, we are changing and evolving many different levels during our lifetimes. That's going to impact generations to come. We're moving from a period of darkness, the dark ages, into an enlightened, more enlightened state. You can think of it like a circle, like a sunrise and a sunset, an inhale and an exhale. We continuously go through this growing and shrinking, this enlightening and darkening. And right now, there's a lot of star seeds that have come to this planet to become part of this growing energy, this growing consciousness. And so you might have incarnated into a challenging situation, a really dark, unenlightened family, a family that you needed to transmute and transcend certain behaviors so that as a collective we would grow into something new, something expanded beyond what we came into. So whenever I think of trusting life, there have been many difficult situations in my life that I've had to overcome, and I'm still growing and learning and talking about it and sharing it to a community of people is part of the alchemy. It's part of the growth that now I get to a point where I'm ready to share my story. A few years ago, I wasn't at this point. I wasn't ready to talk about it, but now I am. So it's awesome to connect with you and share my perspective, and why I think we came to this planet. So how can you trust life when something bad happens to you, something that you don't want? Right now there's a poem by Rumi, one of my favorite mystic poets, and he talks about getting jumped in the streets and how you can use that as a catalyst to grow. He says, anything that makes you turn inward, give thanks and appreciation for it. You don't want what they want. You want to turn towards God and grow and trust and have faith. And in turn, you're rewarded. Your reality, regardless of what it looks like, can be transmuted, can be used as grist for the mill. It can be used to grow into higher states. Something from my own life personally that's been challenging. The beginning of the year, I had to have ACL surgery on my knee, and I tried to heal it on my own for a long time. It's been 3 years, and movement was my escape. That was my medicine. It still is a beautiful tool, but it was taken away from me basically for 3 years. I couldn't do the yoga and the exercise and all the things that I used to do, and it really made me up my meditation. It made me up my breath work. It made me go into the ice bath. It made me go inward and see life as light itself. Yes, there are shadows, and you have to grow out of these shadows, but ultimately, everything is light. Everything can be used as a tool for growth, even the worst things. And it's very difficult for some people to accept this. A lot of people will turn away from this level of acceptance. But the reason I feel so confident in saying this is because I know we have a soul and we have a body. And while they are one thing connected, they're also simultaneously separate. I've left my body. I know what it means to escape the matrix, what it means to leave this reality. And I was fine. I was totally safe. And when I came back into my body, I laughed the hardest I've ever laughed in my life. It was such a relief to know that even death isn't the end. Death is about as painful as slipping off of a tight shoe. There's nothing to fear in death. And so from that point, I started diving into what is spirituality. What are all these Eastern systems? What are all these Western systems? What are all these different religions and esoteric practices? What are they all pointing towards? Because I had direct experience. And what I've come to the conclusion is that we have a body, a personality, a name, a psychology. We have all these aspects of ourselves that are continuously changing. It's the Maya, the illusion. And it's a beautiful illusion. It's God's dream, but it's still a dream nonetheless. Anything that changes is part of your lower self. Not that higher and lower are better or worse, just that this is the aspect of you that's changing. And it's always going to change. You can't be attached to yourself as a kid. I was a kid once, and now here I am, and then someday I'm going to be old, and then someday I'm going to be dead. But through that whole process, I have this other part of me, the soul, that it never changes. It's always here. You can't touch it. You can't break it. You can't hurt it. It's beyond this earth. And so once you see that and you realize that, then you start, all right, that's the awakening. I'm awake to what I am, who I truly am, my true nature. Then you begin integrating it. You start weaving it into your daily life. We can have these peak experiences on meditation, psychedelics, dream states. All these different peak experiences can happen, and we can get a glimpse of our true selves. And then from there, we have to begin the work of integration. And treat every day, one of my mentors told me that, treat every day like a ceremony. Waking up, eating, getting food, drinking, movement, how you approach the people in your life, how you approach yourself. Treat it all like a ceremony. Treat it as all sacred. Because that is majority of your life. We have these peak experiences, sure, but most of our lives are the ordinary, mundane life. And we can use that to integrate our higher self into our lower self. You can see it like the roommate. I've been jumped before. Walking down the street. It was actually in an apartment complex. A couple guys jumped me from behind, and all of a sudden I was getting hit, raining blows, and luckily I had a friend come in and save me. And I could have retaliated and gotten all mad, and I could have let that ruin the rest of my life, really. I mean, it is something I could have held on to, but it's also a moment to reflect and respond and realize I don't want what they want. I don't ever want to put someone in that situation. I'm never going to jump somebody. And having compassion for anybody that's been through an experience like that, anybody that's feel violated, or just all the nasty, horrible things that people can do to each other. Realizing that's not the path, that's not what I want. And then having compassion for other people that go through that. We take these experiences that are so horrible and so hard, and then we can offer them as gifts to other people in the world. So if you're watching this channel, you are most likely an old soul, a starseed, some kind of higher frequency being that probably had a challenging life, and you're looking for answers that are deeper than the mundane, deeper than what you see on mainstream media and the mainstream consciousness. This is for the people that are growing and leading the way. These are the leaders for the new earth. So whatever you're going through, just know that it's for your highest good. It is for you to grow into that part of you that can't be touched. It can't be hurt. There's a part of you that will never die. And I know this because I've experienced what it's like to leave the body, and I started integrating. So after the integration, then it becomes the embodiment. Then you start embodying this wisdom, and whenever you walk into a room, whenever you go somewhere, people can sense it. You have a fragrance about you. You are glowing, you are emanating light. And people can smell it, and they'll start coming up to you, start asking you for advice, for support, for guidance. And that's how I started my coaching. That's how I started when I'm helping people. And so yeah, if that resonates with you and you are interested in some guidance on how to integrate these challenges that life has, there's a blueprint in your DNA that everyone has. It's unique to you, and we can tap into that and use that as a starting point for consultations. And I'd love to be your guide in that journey. If you're interested, reach out to the website, and have a great day. Much love.